Caitlin Clark did. Bring all those eyes for pure basketball purists. There's nobody like her.
In the world of basketball, there's only one player who has managed to capture the attention of fans, media, and even athletes from other sports with the sheer power of her presence on the court, Caitlin Clark. This Iowa native has not only revolutionized the game of basketball, but she's done something that no other player has been able to do. She's brought a fresh energy and a whole new audience to the WNBA and beyond. But with all her recent successes and accolades, one has to wonder, why does it seem like some WNBA stars are having a hard time celebrating her achievements? Is it jealousy? A reluctance to share the spotlight? Or is it something deeper? Let's dive into Clark's meteoric rise, her unprecedented success, and the tensions that have emerged as the WNBA attempts to navigate the new era that Caitlin Clark is ushering in. Caitlin Clark's rise to stardom is nothing short of remarkable. From dominating the college courts to becoming a national sensation in the WNBA, Clark has redefined what it means to be a star athlete in today's sports world. For any player to come into the league and immediately make an impact is impressive, but Clark has done so in a way that is almost unheard of. Her rookie season was phenomenal. She averaged 19.2 points, 8.4 assists, and 5.7 rebounds per game, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. She led the entire league in assists and three-pointers made, quickly establishing herself as not just another player, but one of the best to ever lace up her sneakers. Over the course of the season, Clark broke 62 records. 62. That's not just a rookie making a splash. That's a player who is rewriting the entire rulebook. But the story doesn't end on the court. Caitlin Clark's impact extends far beyond basketball. Off the court, she's been nothing short of a game changer for the WNBA. One of the most staggering statistics is how her presence in the league led to a massive spike in WNBA merchandise sales, a 500% increase to be exact. That's right, 5 times the usual sales. It's clear that Clark's influence has reached beyond just basketball fans. Her fan base is diverse, spanning across demographics that have never considered themselves WNBA fans before. That's the kind of influence you don't see every day, and it's not limited to merchandise. Her debut season also saw a significant uptick in viewership, and attendance for WNBA games skyrocketed. It's as though Caitlin Clark flipped a switch, and suddenly, people who had never considered watching women's basketball were tuning in. But it doesn't stop there. Her impact on the league has been so profound that it has sent shockwaves through the world of sports economics. According to experts, Clark's presence is generating an estimated $36 million for Indianapolis, and it's predicted that the overall value of professional women's basketball could increase by $1.6 billion in the next 3 years. That's billion with a B. These aren't just numbers, they are indicators of a new era in women's sports. Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's driving a cultural shift. She's changing the game, both on and off the court. So why then does it seem like some members of the WNBA, the very league she's helping to transform, are acting like they can't acknowledge her success? It's a strange phenomenon that has caused a stir both within and outside the basketball world. Typically, when a rookie enters a professional league and performs at the level Clark has, the league rolls out the red carpet. It's a time of celebration. Think about the NBA when rookies like LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Luka Doncic arrived. The league celebrated them in a big way, showcasing their talents and putting them front and center. But when Clark was named Associated Press Female Athlete of the Year, a monumental achievement in itself, the WNBA's response was a retweet. That's right. A simple, cold, emotionless share of a post. No congratulatory words. No dedicated post to highlight her achievements. It was as though they couldn't be bothered. The silence from the WNBA is deafening, especially when compared to how they treated past players like Candace Parker, who won the same award a few years ago. When Parker won, the league posted a celebratory write-up, a video tribute, and a message of pride for one of their own. So why the cold shoulder for Clark? Some fans are baffled by this behavior, wondering why the league isn't celebrating a player who is bringing in new fans, driving up merchandise sales, and increasing viewership. It seems like the WNBA is missing a golden opportunity to capitalize on her success, and the silence is raising questions about what's really going on behind the scenes. But it's not just the WNBA organization that seems to be struggling with Clark's success. Some of the league's veterans are showing signs of jealousy, and it's not exactly subtle. Players like A'ja Wilson, who is a three-time MVP of the WNBA, have been vocal in their opinions about Clark. In a recent interview, Wilson questioned the criteria for Clark's recognition, suggesting that the accolades might not be solely based on her performance on the court. Wilson, who has had an impressive career, seems to be having a hard time with the idea that Clark, a rookie, is receiving so much attention. It's not uncommon in sports for veteran players to feel threatened by the rise of younger talent, but it's striking when that tension is made public. Wilson's comments aren't the only indication that some WNBA players are having trouble with Clark's success. Another player, Angel Reese, has been vocal about her own desire to share the spotlight with Clark. While Reese is undoubtedly a talented player in her own right, her statements that the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person, it's because of me too, come across as a bit defensive. It seems like she's trying to remind everyone that she too is a big deal in the world of women's basketball. And then there's WNBA legend Cheryl Swoops, who took it a step further by questioning the criteria for Clark's Time Athlete of the Year recognition. Swoops, a Hall of Famer, implied that other players, like Wilson, deserve similar recognition, though she didn't elaborate on why. While this kind of jealousy isn't unique to women's basketball, the way it's playing out in the WNBA is unsettling. Players who should be celebrating each other's success are instead allowing petty rivalries and egos to cloud their judgment. The result is a league that could be working together to elevate women's sports as a whole, but instead seems to be in disarray, stuck in a cycle of comparison and bitterness. The question is, how does this affect the future of the WNBA? Will the veterans learn to embrace the new superstar in their midst, or will the drama continue to overshadow the sport's growth? One thing is for sure, the WNBA is at a crossroads. Caitlin Clark is a once-in-a-generation talent who is changing the game for women's basketball. She's not just an athlete, as she's a cultural icon in the making. Her ability to draw in new fans, generate economic impact, and break records, all while maintaining an approachable and authentic presence, makes her the ideal representative for the WNBA. But for the league to truly reach its potential, they need to stop acting like the jealous ex and start celebrating their star player. If they don't, they risk missing out on the momentum that Clark is generating. The WNBA has spent years fighting for respect in a world that has long favored men's sports. Caitlin Clark's success could be the catalyst for the league's long-awaited breakthrough, but that success will only be fully realized if the league unites behind her and celebrates her contributions to the sport. Instead, what we're seeing is a strange divide, with some players and even some media outlets downplaying her achievements in favor of protecting their own legacies. This media divide is another strange aspect of Clark's rise. While mainstream media outlets have been eager to crown her as the new face of women's basketball, the coverage from WNBA-specific outlets has been far more skeptical. Some seem to view Clark's rise as a threat to the established order, questioning whether her success is truly deserved. It's as though they're trying to balance out the mainstream hype by focusing on what's wrong with Clark's rise, instead of celebrating it for what it is, a win for women's sports. The divide between mainstream media and WNBA-specific media is concerning, as it creates two separate narratives about the same player. One side is all about the Caitlin Clark effect, her record-breaking statistics, her ability to draw attention to the sport, and the way she's changing the game. The other side is questioning the very criteria by which she's being recognized. This split coverage isn't just confusing for fans, it's detrimental to the league as a whole. The WNBA should be unified in its support for its stars, not creating an environment where players are pitted against each other and the media is divided over their accomplishments. As Clark continues to break barriers, the question remains, will the WNBA be able to rise to the occasion and capitalize on the momentum she's created? Will the veterans let go of their jealousy and work together to make women's basketball the global phenomenon it has the potential to be? Or will the drama continue to overshadow the sport's growth? One thing is for sure, Caitlin Clark's journey is far from over. And as she continues to change the game, the WNBA will have to decide whether to embrace her or risk being left behind. The ball is in their court now. How they play it will determine the future of women's basketball for years to come.